Peace and blessings. So this is Art and Hustle, and my name Black Authors Matter, and my name is Carlos Walker, and this is Ace. Nice to meet you, Ace.
Nice to meet you too, sir.
Hey, so I am kind of excited to hear about your book, about what you're doing, and also later to the end, the words of wisdom that you're going to drop. So
Okay.
just to get into it, first of all, tell the people who you are and kind of like what you do. Give a little brief history about yourself.
Okay. I'm Ace Johnson. I grew up in the church, and I always, for some reason, had some type of feelings, or like it was just biblical scriptures that I just knew. So it was always there. Like my parents taught me, religion, growing up in a Christian household, but it's just things that I just knew. And my favorite thing was always from a child was Revelations. So I didn't. It was a lot of symbolism and stuff into it. Didn't really understand it, but Revelations always struck something deep within me. I had people in my family that said, you're going to be a preacher and stuff like that. And, I'm like, it wasn't my calling, but, people saying these things over your life. I have spoken before congregations, before. I wouldn't say it was a sermon. I just gave my own, message, so I've done that before. Okay. The reason why I'm kind of bringing all this into it is that this happened at my son's birthday, after his birthday. This was, I believe, 2019. And after his birthday, I started to get revelations, right? I'm not even gonna say revelation, like whatever it was. I can't say what it was, but I started to have these dreams. And these dreams were, I was getting visions. And I was not a writer. I went to college, I went to Lincoln University, stuff like that. But me writing, I'm not a writer, did not like writing. But when I started to see these visions, it was like write it down. And literally I could I'm watching my book unfold to me. And I was writing down what I saw. And the only thing was that what I had to actually put myself into I had to kind of put the words into in which I the way in which I was expressing it, but everything was seen. And it just unfolded to me over it started like August. From August until like New Year, I believe like December, I had written 5 books in that time period. I think like August, September, October, November, December. 5 months I written about 5 books before I stopped. I had about 90 chapters in the last book before I said, oh, hold up, I need to stop and do something with this. So then I had all aspirations of, oh, I'm going to be the next author and this, that, whatever, so forth and so on. But then reality slammed you back in the face about, well, it's an easy transition to get out there because I'm going to just send this to this publisher here and this publisher there. I'd spoken to a good friend of mine who was he works at Arizona University, and he was a literary professor and whatever. And he told me, oh, well, hold on, Ace, you just can't get a publishing contract. He's like, you need an agent. He basically broke the whole thing down to me, and it kind of just rattled me the fact because I thought, all you gotta do is write the book and that's it. Then it's a whole process. It's like even if you're an athlete, what I'm saying, if you don't have an agent that's pushing it for you, the recruiter's not going to the basketball court. And they said it was kind of like having you could be a rapper, whatever, but you're not going to get to Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? With the internet, it's a little bit different now, but it's emotional, right? So that was the issue. But then, so I'm going to be a self-publishing author. And then a friend of mine had told me he saw a video one night about Newman Springs, which they had an opportunity for up and coming authors or whatever. So I gave them the pitch, and they ended up they picked me up and they put me on. So let me tell you a little bit about the book. Okay.
Before we go there,
sorry.
It came out to be a lot easier than what your friend told
you. Mm-hmm. Yes. Definitely. It's not really a hard process. To me, the worst process or the most difficult process is the editing process. Like when you're going back and forth with the editor.
Yes.
Well, if I just want to give a little insight to people that actually going through the whole issue.
I'm gonna let you do this in just a second because I do want to make sure that we cover your book, cover a few.
Yes. Okay. My mind.
So yeah. No, you good. So share with us what the book is about.
Okay. Because it's 8 books in the series. I guess a bigger overall picture of it is this. The creator. This all came to me is 137, right? And this is the end of time. Everything is over, and people of you heaven and hell. So this is from the heaven's perspective of it, right? So you have all these beings that are with the creator, and they keep asking him, well, why did you make cockroaches? Why didn't you stop tornadoes? And it's instant. It's going back and forth, back and forth. So the creator is 137. It's one God, three persons with seven spirits. So the seven spirits are his will or his aspect, like personalities of God are actually these deities that all make up the God. So they're answering these people all these questions. Now, each personality, will of God is, one is justice. He's the he is the one over the great white throne and so forth. Anyway, so everyone is given explanations, and then now these wills are kind of putting it. Well, if I was, I would have, So eventually the three says, you know what? Here's your opportunity. Do it over again. So this book takes place in Justice, who's the judge. His look over the whole entire world, doing it over again, doing his alterations and changes. So that's where these books pick up. So as far as it's a parody of God, but I can't speak for God because a lot of things are spoken in tone of God. So I want to make it clear I'm not, because I don't know what God would say or do in any, like what man can know the Lord. So I didn't put it that way, but it's very much like God. It's everything. It's theology, wisdom, and it covers, brother. It covers from pornography, adultery. Every single problem in sin is looked at it from the perspective of this God that's actually on the planet now, that's dealing with humanity and not knowing that he's the Lord. Like he has no clue that he's God, and he's dealing with everything, and he's being tested as well. So he has to deal with all of these issues and problems. And this looks at the world now and how we got to where we're at. From a standpoint of like, it's saying like how we got to this world with all the issues that we have right now. It's covering a gambit of problems. And I really wanted to when I was younger, I had an issue with suicide. I tried to commit suicide. So all these problems that I had in my life was, and this book was a chance to explain to people, well, what happens if you kill yourself? You know what I'm saying? Well, the issue too was, well, I don't know if I'm going to heaven or hell because I just took my life. That was an issue I didn't know about that. So that's my father told me, dude, if you do this, you're not going to make it to heaven because you took your life. There's no chance for you to say, I'm sorry, it's over and it's done, which I don't know yay or nay. But at that point in my life, it made me say, okay, I can't take my life. You know what I'm saying? Now this person in this book is dealing with suicidal issues because of the things in which happened to him in his life. So I really wanted to address all these problems with a grown up. Eventually through the series, he has children, and his daughter is in a lesbian relationship, stuff like that. So it's looking at it from a Christian perspective, because from Christians, people think that we're intolerant and God hates the sin but loves the sinner. So I really wanted to get that across. And then now, because this book is really open to all these issues and problems, think, well, I didn't want to get under the stigma of being a Christian writer, because I'm like, if you wanted to read about theology, you can get it from a pastor that's going to give you a much biblical overlay of the story. I looked at it from Jesus' perspective of, you go out into the world and you deal with the issues and the problem. How can I address pornography if I'm looking at it from a pulpit? I can address pornography by telling you about what happens to people that are in porn. You know what I'm saying? I'm writing about that. So I went out there, and there's no limit of the issues and problems that I went through with this book. I'm addressing it all. Yeah.
Just to sum it up, you basically took a lot of problems that you dealt with in life.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Gave an explanation from that standpoint, not just the point of saying you're wrong for this and this is why. You're saying
exactly
this is why. You're
Exactly.
truly giving them an understanding of the depth of it, the depth of
Exactly.
whatever fleshly thing that we actually like, and how
Exactly.
it can keep us from entering into the next stage of God, of understanding God. I like
100%.
that.
100%. Right. Like I never want to be preachy. You follow what I'm saying? I just wanted to show these individuals did these things, and it's all about the consequences for your actions.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
how can I put this? Basically, you're doing what these people have told you was doing, just in book form. They told
Right.
you're gonna be a pastor or whatever. Who else have ideas to create a book about sin, but to reword it and form it in a whole different way? Pastors
I
just
never thought of that.
pastors look. You could have wrote a book about anything. Remember, you wasn't a writer. But what
Uh-huh.
God chose to do was reveal some things to you in a whole different way. Pastors don't just get up there and preach. They break things down in a form where you can understand it by giving
Amen.
parables, by giving certain aspects of life so then you can see life from a whole different perspective. And technically, this is what you done. You are a minister. You may not want to call yourself that, but you do have to accept the call in order to help the people that you have chose to help.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And
I'm
this
open,
is
willing vessel.
and you are a willing vessel. You didn't know what to write.
I
God
have
spoke
no
to
idea.
you, revealed things through you through revelations or through dreams, through whatever people like to call them. You created from that to show what this looks like. You basically you didn't create Jesus as the character, but you created a being similar to him, having to
Hmm.
deal with every faction of the scenarios. A human who came down didn't know who he was, but chose to live life, but fight the temptations while also dealing with the temptations that come. So, if don't nobody else come in you, man, to write 5 books in 5 months, and then for somebody to yes tell you something that can scare you off from even moving forward, but you never
Right.
stopping, and then you reaching out and somebody else picked up your book.
Hmm.
This is the reason why I said it wasn't as hard as he said it was, because God had already ordained you to write this book or write
Yes.
these
I know it
books.
was. Yeah.
And
I know it was.
all you got to do, continue to move, continue to strive, because it's a reason why God put words in our minds, give us
Yes.
the things, because like I said, you wasn't a writer until
Hmm.
4 years ago. And words came, and in 5 months you wrote 5 books that are all out now. Do you know most people don't have their books out? I don't know how many you have sold, but
Well, at the moment, I only have two out right now. Like the others, I'm in the process. Oh, and just to add, I was getting ready to send book three. Was well, I call them seasons. I was getting ready to send season three to the publisher, and it was some issues that I wanted to address into it, going back into its past. I mean, it was like it was so many things that I had to leave on the table just to get that first season out there. And I'm like, I can't explain every single thing. So when I had the chance to, I was going to add a sprinkle a little lot of it into season three. I'm like, let's get
yeah,
some
as you're supposed to.
into its past. And when I started to write it, now it's standalone because basically the way the books are to me, it's about maybe depends on 6 or 7 different stories that's happening that's all blended together, right? So I was going to blend this one into it, and as I was doing it, my biggest fan, this is crazy part about it, is my mother, right? And it kind of it shocks me because my writing it's adult content. I mean, it's not like gratuitous, whatever, but it's adult situation that happened, in my story. And to have my mother read it, it's like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? She's like, it's really, really good. So and as I was telling her about I'll let her hear it. And she said, you know what? That ought to be a standalone book. So before I released season three, my mother said, just go ahead and make that standalone book. So I just wrote this. I started writing this one. This is season 0, right? From October, I just finished it about a couple of weeks ago. So I just added another one to the series And that's the one I'm getting ready to release. So season 0, and that is my best one so far, because one thing I could say is the content was in season 1 was what the content to me is stellar. But I was not a writer. There's certain cadence that you have and certain things that you do and you do not do. So I didn't know how to. I hadn't
Remember
done it
this.
long enough to get it.
Remember this. You don't
Yes,
have to. You just have to work. And as you
right.
work, it gets better. You learn the ins and
That's it.
outs of everything. So
That's it.
from you to now, back then you was writing. Now you're learning the facets of it that makes it
I have
better.
it now. Yeah, I'm
So
getting much better.
just keep going. This is what my words to you. God is giving
Yes,
you everything that you need. Keep going.
yes,
But what I
yes.
do want to do, because I got to make this kind
Okay,
of,
sorry.
I'm trying to pin it down at a time.
Yes.
What I do want you to do, give them some words of wisdom. Well, before that, tell them where they can find your books. Let
Oh,
them know all your Instagram pages, everything that's needed, and then
I don't know if you can see this right here. This is from I don't know if you can see this. I was an Amazon bestseller. Right now, if you looked up, oh, I should just give you a card. Ace Johnson on Insta. Let me see. Oh, I have a card on me.
shoot it out because I don't know if they're gonna be
Yeah.
able to pause it and do all this. So tell me your information.
Okay. You could get me at Ace. Well, if you just look Ace Johnson and his Warrior Women of Superior Island, Legend of the Six-Breasted Man. And if you went on Amazon, it's on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all the platform. Matter of fact, you can even Google Ace Johnson, and my name will come up. So it's Warrior Women of Superior Island, Legend of the Six-Breasted Man will be season 0.
Okay. And what I is that well, they'll be able to find the 2 books that's already out. And what I
Yes.
want you to do, tell me your Instagram handle and everything so they can find you, even on Instagram. So they
My
can follow.
Instagram is okay. I am GSTO21C. And you can get that at AOL.com, and that it'll also put on Instagram. Well, it's GSTO21C, and that actually means something in the book. It's the greatest storyteller of 21st century.
Okay. I like that.
Because
And you gotta make it look. I like the way you put that. Now, give me some
yes,
words of wisdom so we can close out. But I want
okay.
something that you can give somebody who either starting writing or somebody who's already in the game but needs some help. Give it
Oh
to them.
gosh, yes, yes. I've met so many people as you tell them that you're writing, and there's so many people saying, "Oh, I'm writing, whatever," but for some reason you never finish. There's different phases of it. There's content creators, right? A content creator is somebody that can actually come up with ideas, right, and write a whole story. There's world builders, and you have to know what you are. A world builder is somebody that can come up with a concept. Well, I can think of a world of all squids. You know what I'm saying? But he can't write, or he or she cannot write the story. So you have to know where you are. If you're a world builder, world builders don't necessarily mean that you can write a story. You can come up with a concept or idea, or I know many people that can expound on someone else's. Like instead of Harry Potter, let's say if Voldemort didn't die, right? And they can give a story on that, but you cannot come up with your own individual, original. So but the only way to do it is to write the book, and don't be afraid. Do not be afraid and say it's not good enough, because it can sit on your desk forever. The only way to get the skill, like you're not going to learn how to play basketball if you don't go and dribble at the court. You have to write it. And for everyone to say I'm a writer or I want to write, there is no want. There is no want to do. You do for
Mm.
anything you want in life. For anything you want in life. I was not a writer. You can do anything that you want to do. I'm at the I was on the going down on that part of my life. And here at this age, what I'm saying, at this part of my life, I here I am writing. Here I'm writing. So you can do anything that you want to do. There's nothing that cannot be achieved if you do the work, but you have to do the work for it.
Do the work. That's his words of wisdom. So thank you, Ace.
Thank
and
you so much.
stay on for me.
All
This is
right.
Art and Hustle. Black Authors Matter. This is Ace. Go find it. Go check his book out. Check his pages out. Look, go follow him. Thank y'all.